Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. My name is Kate Mills, and I'm the Director of Success for the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. Today, we're going to be talking about copywriting because, in my opinion, it's one of the most valuable tools and skills you can develop as a business owner to help you convert more and connect more with your audience. There are a lot of different places you're going to use copy. You're going to use them in social media posts, sales pages, newsletters, you name it. Pretty much any time you're communicating with anyone, that's considered copy. Now, in this podcast, I'm going to be breaking down some of the most important concepts that you want to grasp, because if you can improve your copywriting skills by even 5%, it can change the entire trajectory of your business. If you improve your marketing skills in general by even 5%, that can completely change your life. So as we're talking about copywriting, I want you to first understand the importance of understanding how to speak to your audience. If you go into writing a sales page or a newsletter or a social media post and you don't know who you're actually writing that post for, the needs, the desires, the pain points, you're not going to be able to speak to them in a way that will resonate with them. So it's really important to understand your audience, understand those pain points, understand their desires, their concerns, their motivation for getting to their end goal. Because if you're able to understand that, it's going to allow you to create copy that actually speaks to them, resonates with them, and they can self-identify with. And that's what's going to help bring them closer and get them to keep reading. And that is so important, because if you create content that doesn't initially grab them with the hook, right? We know the hook in social media. It's what you see in the first 3 seconds. It's what keeps you reading. There's a hook in every form of copy. In a newsletter, it is the subject line, but it's also the first line of the email. People will make the decision to open the newsletter based on the headline or the subject line, but then the first thing they read, if they're not interested in that first sentence, they may not keep reading. So it's really important, again, to understand the importance of that and what is going to hook the audience. And if you don't understand your audience, you're not going to be able to create really engaging hooks. We're going to get into that in a minute. The next one is keeping your language simple and really easy to understand. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make. In social, no matter where you're communicating, you want to communicate in a way that people are going to understand. As health coaches, we love the science of it. We love to talk about detoxing and the really in-depth anatomy and how it's all impacting something else. But most of our audience and our clients aren't going to understand all that. We need to really simplify. We need to really focus on clarity and make clarity a priority. If you're using big, jargon from our industry that people don't understand, people don't like not understanding things. There's a concept that in sales psychology and your subconscious where if someone's saying things that you don't understand, it's going to trigger something in you and make you feel a little bit stupid, unfortunately. And so if someone feels stupid, they're going to turn away. So you really want to keep things simple. You want to explain things or communicate things in a way that they're going to understand. It's almost as if we want to kind of dumb it down to more of a 6th grade level. And that's simplifying it a little bit. But again, the important thing is not to use too much jargon from our industry and communicate things in a way that people are going to understand, because also a confused mind always says no. So you want to make it super easy to understand. The next one is the importance of a really compelling headline. The headline is the hook on social media. It's the first 3 seconds of your reel. It's the first line of your caption. It's the subject line of your email. It's the headline of your landing page. It's literally the first thing people are going to read. And if that does not hook someone, they are not going to read the rest of your piece of content. So that is super important. And you can find hook ideas out there everywhere. One of the things I always recommend people to do is when you're on social media, if you have a niche, let's say it's Hashimoto's, for instance, search Hashimoto's in the search bar and see some of the most popular reels and most popular posts that come up that have gotten a lot of attention. And look at the types of headlines and hooks they're using. I'm not saying to copy them. I'm saying to look at the types of hooks that are getting attention, because it's going to help you create your own. But here's a couple really interesting options for you that you can use, let's say on landing pages, is how to blank in as little as blank without blank. Okay. How to lose weight in as little as 21 days without exercising more. How to clear your skin in under 2 months without using lots of chemicals, right? So it's the how to blank in as little as timeline without a pain point or something maybe they don't want to do. So that's one option. There's also 3 ways to get blank and avoid blank. So 3 ways to get what they want and avoid a pain point. My proven weight loss method to lose 10 pounds in under 21 days. Here's the perfect solution if you want to improve your gut health in as little as 21 days. These are all just very basic examples and frameworks that you can use to script out a headline, no matter if it's for, like I said, a landing page, a newsletter, or social media. There are so many options out there for you. And if you're using a program that helps you generate ideas like ChatGPT, you can ask it for headline ideas that help people solve a specific pain point, and it'll pop it out. But just remember how unbelievably important the headline is. It's going to make or break your copy. And if your hook on social media doesn't grab people, they're not going to make it to your caption or the rest of your video. So that's pretty much the most important part of any piece of copy, is ensuring that people are going to read the rest of it. Next, I want you to focus on benefits and not features. When you're promoting your service and you're talking about your service, you really want to talk about how your service can help solve their problems and improve their lives. People care less about what is actually included in what you're providing and more about how it can solve their problems, how it's a unique solution that maybe they haven't tried before to reach their end goal. So remember, it's about benefits over features. If, let's say, you have a landing page and you're talking about, let's say, an online course or a signature package that you offer, you really want to communicate the benefits of working with you, the benefits to going through your program, and how they are going to achieve their dream state or their end goal by working with you with your unique solution. Really, really important. Then tell a story and use testimonials, because it allows people to connect emotionally and can also be more memorable. So connecting emotionally is really, really important. It's going to it's going to create more of a personal connection with them. It's going to allow them to see themselves in the shoes of either you, if it was your story you're telling, or a client that you put their testimonial in there. But emotionally connecting is really important. So this is where going back to understanding your audience is so important, because if you're able to tell stories that they can relate to, it's going to create that really powerful connection. So on social media, for instance, if you tell a little bit of your story about something that you overcame, there are millions of people out there who are struggling with that you've already found the solution for. They are going to self-identify with that story and realize that you achieved the transformation that they want. And that's going to allow them to move forward and move closer to you and self-identify with your content. It's the same in any type of copywriting, is if they can connect emotionally to you and your story or the transformations that you've helped other people accomplish, they're going to keep moving and they're going to keep reading. The next one is to be conversational and write as if you would speak. This is another thing that I come up against a lot, is a lot of health practitioners want to write in a very kind of scientific way. They don't speak from the heart. They don't write in the way that they would actually talk. They write things more as like a research paper. But again, that's not going to allow people to emotionally connect. It's one of the biggest turnoffs for me when I'm reading something, is if it reads like a research paper or it's not got any feeling to it. So when you're writing captions, you're writing a newsletter, sit down and just type it out as it's coming into your head. You can perfect it later, but if you do that in that flow, it's going to come out in a more natural way, so that when someone's reading it, it sounds like it's more natural, as opposed to it coming out more sciencey, which makes it feel like it was written by AI, right? So if it comes out as if you're speaking, it's going to be a lot more natural. And again, people are going to connect to it a lot more. Now, a really important part of any copy is bullet points. Bullet points are so powerful, and people don't utilize them enough, and they don't utilize them correctly. So bullet points are going to be a big bulk of your content, no matter where you're writing, whether it's in a newsletter, whether it's in a social post. Bullets are going to be a really important component, because this is what's going to allow people to understand how what you're offering can benefit them and what that means to their life. So there's a really good framework that I like to use for bullet points. It's a 3-part framework for every bullet point. It starts with the feature, which is what it is. Next is the benefit, which is what it does. And then the next is the meaning. What does that actually mean for the buyer? So let me give you an example. If you're trying to sell a high ticket program, and one of the bullet points or the things that you're offering as part of your program is unlimited Voxer access to you. If in the bullet points you just say Voxer access, that's not going to create an emotional connection, or it's not going to convince someone why they need it. Now, let's turn it into a really awesome bullet point. You get Voxer access to your coach so you can get your questions answered anytime, which means you'll be confident to move forward with momentum knowing you have support. So again, breaking it down, Voxer access to your coach, that's what the feature actually is. So you can get your questions answered anytime. That's the benefit, is you have unlimited access to ask questions. But what does that actually mean for them? It means they're going to feel confident knowing that they have support. That's going to allow people to connect much better to that bullet point. So your bullet points want to be broken down in a framework like that, so they're much more powerful. But again, this is really important in every newsletter, every social post, every landing page, is making sure you have bullets in there, because people would prefer to read bullets than to read a long paragraph. And that brings me to another one, which is formatting. Formatting is so important. That means breaking things down into shorter paragraphs, into sentences, into bullet points. People don't like reading big paragraphs often. Yes, if they're reading a blog and they're in it for, the content and the meaning, they're going to read those. But in general, on the 3 kinds of copy we've been talking about, the social posts, the newsletters, the landing pages, people want to read shorter blocks. So I like to have each block of text be 1 to 2 sentences at most, and be broken up by bullet points, be broken up by headlines, be bolded, have italics. You really want to draw people's eyes to what you want them to focus on. So having many different headlines moving down the page that are all hooks. Each headline should be its own hook, because you're going to have people who are going to read every word of your piece of copy. You're also going to have people who just scroll and scan. So let's say they scan and scroll halfway down the page, and that one headline hooks them. And that headline is your bullet points that are breaking down the benefits and the features of your program. Then each bullet is going to sell them and get them closer and keep them moving forward. So really utilizing formatting, breaking things up so nothing's in big, hefty paragraphs, adding images that emit emotion. You don't want a ton of different images, let's say on a sales page, but if you have a couple images that are connected to the copy and exhibit the emotion you want people to be feeling when they work with you and after they work with you, that's going to help convert as well. So formatting is so important. Again, using headings, using bold, using italics. If you read the newsletters that I send, I always call out the things that I want people to focus on, the most important pieces of it, because they might scroll halfway down the page, read something that I have bolded, and realize, oh, that's incredible. I'm going to go back and read the entire thing. And the more components, or the longer someone reads a landing page or a newsletter, the more nurtured they are, the closer they are to making the purchasing decision or deciding to work with you. So these are all really important components to copywriting. And there are more. Like I mentioned, this is one of the most valuable skills that you can develop as a business owner. There's copywriting for sales emails. There's copywriting for DMs. There's so many different forms of copy. Anytime you're communicating with somebody, this is a form of copy, and there are frameworks for that out there. There are a lot of really amazing books out there on copywriting and doing sales copy, and I recommend just searching for some and diving in, because again, this is one of the most valuable things you can commit to. It's also going to make you more confident. So every piece of content, every newsletter is going to convert higher. So let's say just by updating the formatting, you just increased your conversions on that by 10%, right? You want to really focus on these different components. You want to make sure you have a strong call to action, because you want people to know what the next step is that you should take. I really hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed this content. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube or any of the podcast platforms, and I will see you on my next episode.